Welcome to part 2 of Simplicity's S9545 SewAlong. I encourage you to watch the tutorials listed on the following slides prior to starting this SewAlong to either refresh your memory or to learn the sewing skill mentioned in order to complete this SewAlong, or watch it when it comes up in the tutorial itself. It's your choice. I do my sew-alongs this way to ensure a win-win scenario. You get a full sew-along with step-by-step sewing instructions, and I avoid the tedious task of editing a sewing technique, like installing an invisible zipper, over and over and over again. The steps doesn't change, no matter the garment, so recording and editing it only one time is all it takes, right? Here's what we'll be covering in today's video: stay stitching and seam casing. Lastly, if you're new to sewing or just need a refresher, check out my free sewing basics video series by clicking the link at the top of your screen. If you already know how to do my sew-alongs and videos, and if you'll be kind enough to watch at least one ad should it appear, which enables me to keep bringing you free content, feel free to skip ahead to go straight to the pattern spotlight. Skip ahead to the 4-minute 30-second mark. Here's a little bit about how I do my Sew With Me sew-alongs. Techniques, I'm going to put it on the website, and I will reference it in the sew-along itself. So, for example, we're working on a pair of pants that has a fly front. So when we get to that portion in the sew-along, I'll do a little bit of it, and instructions in the sew-along itself, but then I'm going to refer you over to the website to go ahead and look at that video, that particular video, look it over, study it, do your own sample if you want, because I'm big on that technique binder. So go ahead and and do that, and then once you get a good hang of what that technique is, then come back onto the sew-along itself and do that particular technique with the sew-along. So that way we both kind of benefit. You still get the instruction of the actual sew-along, step by step of how to do a particular thing. But it's less editing on my part because, like I said, I'll mention it in the sew-along itself, but then I'll refer you over to the website to actually find that particular technique and go ahead, review it, look at it. And then once you master it or enough to where even you sew along, at the same time and install it in that particular sew-along that you're doing at that time. So hopefully that will be okay for you, because I think I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank everyone for watching my videos. I love to upload the videos. I love to share my knowledge. And I'm pretty sure that you guys love to get free content. So in order for me to keep uploading free content, I just need you to do some simple things for me, some very simple things. The first thing is just to hit the subscribe button. So just make sure that you hit that. So you're subscribed to my channel. Hit the notification bell so when I upload a new video, you don't miss out and you get to see it. And then also, if there's an ad on my videos, they're typically anywhere from 10 seconds to maybe up to 2 minutes. Just go ahead and either watch it or do something else you want to do in those in that particular time that ad is running. So use the restroom, go get something to drink or something like that. Because that way, if you let that ad run, I benefit from YouTube, and that way I can still keep creating content and uploading it for free. Okay. Enough of that boring stuff. Back to the sew-along. Please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And also hit the notification bell so you don't miss any uploads. Thanks again, and keep on watching. This is part 2 of Simplicity's S9545. And you're going to need pattern pieces 1 and 2. Okay. And what we're going to be doing is stay stitching. Okay. So it tells you in the directions
to stay stitch, you know, you stay stitch the right side of your garment, and it's telling you to stay stitch like that from the top to the point of the V. I typically do it from the point of the V up because I just don't want this part to stretch. So I'm gonna do it that way. The way I typically do it is from the point of the V up, and then from the point of the V up, okay? And then they want you to stay stitch here, and they want you to stay stitch going in the down direction, again from the right side. All right, so from the top to the bottom is what they want you to stay stitch. But again, I usually do it from the bottom to the top because I don't want the bottom portion to distort because that's in your garment. If this distorts the top of it, it's fine, you know, that's a seam, a shoulder seam. You can, you know, reduce stuff, cut it away, things of that nature. So that's the reason why I start my stay stitching at the bottom to the top, and I do my stay stitching at 1/4 inch at a 2.0 length, okay? The directions could be a little bit different. They may have you doing it at a 1/2 inch. Do that and come back. Okay, back from the sewing machine, stay stitched, basically the neckline, okay? Pattern pieces 1 and 2. All right, so you're going to lay it out so it's right sides together, lining up any notches, and you are going to take, you want basically all your stay stitching to match. And again, this is your neckline. So you want to bring it together so that it's right sides facing, matching any notches. And you see I have notches here. Okay. And then you're going to pin and sew that at your regular 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. And then once you finish that, it's going to be flipped up and looks like that, right? So 1/4 inch from your raw edge, okay? 1/4 inch from your raw edge here. So what I would do probably before you get started is just go ahead and finish those seam edges, okay? So it'll be a nice clean finish once you're done. And what this does is create a casing, okay? So go ahead and do that and come back. Okay, so back from the sewing machine, and I stitched the bodice pieces, so the yoke and the bottom of the bodice together at 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. I did go ahead and finish my raw edges, so to make a casing in essence. Typically what you would do is do it like this and sew your casing down like that. So I'm thinking either way is fine. Now, if you do it this way to sew your casing down, what I would do is the seam allowance that is facing your yoke, okay, on the wrong side, I would cut that down. So you only have a bare minimum, and you just have this piece, the top piece, as your casing, and you'll just stitch that down. So this is what it looks like so far as the top. All right, moving on to the next step is we are going to insert the elastic through that casing that we made. I already did this one, okay? And so you can either use a safety pin or this little gadget that I have here. And with this one, you just attach it like that. There's a little clamp on the end here, and you just move it down to where it won't move. All right, and then you just take that end and insert it through the casing. All right, and when you get to this end here, you just don't want it to go all the way through. Move it some more, just a little bit more without it going through. And then you just pinning it
You see here, you can still see a little bit of the elastic. Okay, so I'm just pinning it so it doesn't go through the casing. And taking that part off, and you don't want this to go through, so you the same thing, you're gonna leave a little bit of a tail. And so you're gonna go to the sewing machine and tack down both sides, and then once you finish tacking it down, then you can distribute the gathers. Okay, so go ahead and do that and come back from the sewing machine, and we had put the elastic through the casing and stitch the ends together to secure the elastic in place. Now you can give it a little tug to distribute the elastic. Okay, so when we get back to the sewing machine, what you're going to do is bring your casing toward the bottom, so toward the bottom of your shirt here. And what you're going to do is you're going to base where the elastic extends, basically you're going to baste it there on both sides. Okay, and this is just will secure it so your casing will you know, be pointing downward. Okay, but that's when you go back to the machine. Right now you're going to need pattern piece number 4. Okay, and this is the front strap. Okay, so you should have cut one, and you're going to need your iron for this, and pick the right side. Okay, so my wrong side, I have these blue marks on it. Okay, so for right now you want it wrong side facing up. Okay, and you are going to fold it in half, and then you're going to press it, and that's going to create a crease in the middle. Try to do it with my hand for right now. All right, so that creates that little crease in the middle there, and then you're going to take each one of the raw edges to meet it in the middle, and all of this you're doing is you're going to iron it too. So that in the middle, that in the middle, you're going to give that a good press. So now it should be looking like this. I'll try to bring it closer. Look like that. Now you're going to fold it in the middle, and this is exactly how you do belt carriers as well. So then you're going to do it like that, so the two meeting in the middle, so you have that opening there. So you're going to take it to the sewing machine, and you're going to edge stitch on both edges. The one that's open that has the double fold, that one, and the single fold. All right, and it basically is a belt carrier, okay, that you're creating. So go ahead and do those two things and come back. Okay, so back from the sewing machine, and tack down that casing. All right, and went ahead and made my belt loop or strap or whatever they want to call it. Okay, so looking at the right side, and it goes on the left as worn, so that would be this for me. And you're going to put right sides together, and it's going to go to where that you should have a marking, a big circle, a marking right here, and that's where you're going to put it. So this will be right sides together, matching up the raw edges. Let's see where my blue, if I can see it. There we go. So look like that. Okay, and you're just going to tack it down right here. You can do it at 1/4 inch. You're just tacking it. So if you are following along with the directions, we are on number 9, all right, which is stay stitch the neck edge of the upper back. So this is the back pattern, in the same manner that you did in the front, which basically, remember, well, you do it from the shoulders to this, here it'd be the center back. So from the shoulders to the center back, okay? Then you're gonna stitch the shoulder seams together. Okay, and here's just a picture of that. Okay, so you're going to stay stitch from the shoulder to the center, shoulder to the center, all right? And then you're going to join the front and back together, so right sides together. And then you're going to sew the shoulder seam. So from the neck edge down to the armhole. So neck edge down to the armhole. So go ahead and do that. I cannot do mine because I'm still waiting on my fabric. Remember, I ran out of fabric. So I'm still waiting on that. So I can't, that's the only piece I'm missing is number 5. Hopefully by the time I get to doing the next video, my fabric will come in and I can cut that. So, but in the meantime, I walked you through it, through the instructions, and it's easy enough. You guys join front to back at the shoulders probably a million times. So you should be fine doing that without me actually having to show you. So go ahead and do that, and we'll come back with the next video. If you made this pattern or intend to, or if you're going to follow along with me, please let me know in the comments. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more of this kind of content. Thanks again for watching, and happy sewing.